Good morning. Look at how washed out I am. I can like camouflage in grass now if I lay down. So it is Monday, the 2nd of June. Happy Pride, by the way. I keep forgetting that that's already. I just came back from my local Standesamt, which I don't know what the equivalent in English would be, but it's like where you go for like everything that regards like your personal data. Like if you have to change something your ID on your ID, or if you get married. I thought I heard music. Like if you get married, or if you're like an immigrant. If you're an immigrant, you're gonna spend a lot of time in a Standesamt. So I'm not sure what that's called wherever it is that you live. I'm told by YouTube analytics, most people that, oops, dropped my jacket. Most people that watch my videos are from the US of A. My condolences, y'all. Especially if you're like gay and stuff. Hope you're having a good Pride Month anyway. Check out my outfit today. Can you even? Black shoes, white socks, black pants. These are some of my favorite pants. They're really nice. Belt. This shirt, which I got from a local like translation event, didn't win, but I was there, so nice. All right, so I was at that place, orange juice, to become transgender legally, because you know, semantics and such. I actually don't know what that word means. I think I'm using it right. Anyway, legally the state has no idea that I'm transgender. To the state, I am a cisgender woman. Fuck. All good. And they're fine with that, probably. They'd have to pay me less. Can't believe that's still a thing. They'd have to pay me less. They would love that, for sure. Anyway. Oh my god. This is gonna be breakfast. I don't know what those are called either. Dude, whenever I make these videos, I literally feel like I don't know English sometimes. So, to be transgender in Germany, last year, this is a very new law. I'm not sure if I talked about it before. I may have complained about it already. It's a very, very new law. It's been in the making for like years. I think probably since 22. And it passed last year in 24. In November, which is so fun because that's like my birth month. It's literally like my law, bro. And what that means, what that law means, is that now, instead of having to go to a bunch of therapists and get psychological evaluations from other people, to whom you have to prove that you are like trans enough and that you fit the like average idea that your cisgender therapist will most likely have of what a trans person is and is not, which super annoying because there you have to convince people that you are what you say that you are, even though you're the person that knows yourself best. And if you're someone whose like gender identity does not fit within even the generally accepted, like by the state right now, because they're not trying to hunt us down specifically like they are in America. So if your gender doesn't work like that, like how the state thinks it should or does, then you're kind of fucked, and you're going to have to lie if you want stuff to happen. You know, if you want your therapist to like believe you or whatever, you might just have to lie to them. And I think this is like a global problem where, because in most countries, I'm pretty sure you have to get multiple or like at least one evaluation from like a licensed therapist, psychiatrist, and then also might have to go to court to argue that like you're transgender and you should be allowed to like start hormones and change your name and change your gender. But yeah, it was like a huge, very, very, very long, very annoying process. Also, super inaccessible. Therapists and psychiatrists are notoriously hard to get a hold of. So you could be waiting literal years for that to happen, and which causes a lot of people to maybe just not even get started and to just like continue living their life with the wrong name and the wrong gender on their like all of their legal documents. And now the only thing you would have to do is go call your like local, is it a citizen bureau? Maybe? Call the local place / the one that you were registered on when you were born, and be like, hey y'all, I would like to change my name and gender. And then they will say, cool, we're gonna send you some paperwork. And you know what? They can also email it to you, but you're gonna have to print it out anyway, so whatever. Make them carry the cost of like 3 papers. And then on that, it says a bunch of legal jargon about how to do the thing, which I'm going to get to that later again. It's already been 7 minutes. Long video. Sorry if you don't like eating noises. I'm so sorry. So yeah, those papers say that like your rights in this thing and how the process is supposed to happen, but it's kind of hard to understand if you're not well versed in the whole like bureaucracy speak, which I'm not. So it's just a lot of run-on sentences with a lot of words that you might not know, and even Googling it might literally not help. But yeah, and then the only thing you have to fill out there is the previous name and everything is already printed on, because you have to give that to them over the phone. And you know they have you in their data bank. And then what you have to write down is your new gender. In Germany, you can choose male, female, diverse, which is like everything that isn't male or female, like if you're non-binary, for example. Or you can fully leave out the gender marker on your ID and passport and everything. I'm not sure if they write an X or if it's just left blank. I don't know, I didn't go for that one, I went for male. Because that's what comes closest to my gender identity. And then you have to write down your new name or names. You can basically choose as many as you want. You don't have to, like if you were born and then your parents gave you multiple first names or something, you don't have to replace all of them. Like for example, I used to have 3 names. Technically, I go by 3 different ones now also, but those are more like nicknames or like names that your friend call you, even though they're just literal other first names, kinda. But I didn't want to put that on my ID, just for like the reason why I'm like, well, I mainly go by Casper anyway. Like, it's a fun fact to tell people you have second names, but I felt better just not doing that. And then the last thing you have to do is sign it. And then you have to give it back to them, to the bureau, and then you have to wait 3 months. Just doing nothing for 3 months until your next date comes, and then you go there, which is what I had to do today. And then you go there, and then these 3 months are not for the bureau. They're supposed to be for you, so you can think about your decision, which is so funny because, hello, dude. I've been transgender for like basically all of my life, even before I knew. And when I knew, it's been like 6 years. I don't need 3 months to think about this, okay? Please, bam, let me write it down, give me my new ID, change it in your dumb system, and we can literally be done with this within like a week. But no, because they don't want to get in trouble with the larger public who doesn't like transgender people for making it too easy to change your gender and name too quickly, so that like they also don't get judged for that shit, for like, because you can do it as an adult when you're 18 by yourself, and you can also have a parent do it with you, starting from, I think either it was 14 or 16, I'm unsure. So they probably just didn't want to be told like, oh my god, Germany is letting little children be transgender way too fast, or whatever. I don't know, man. 3 months waiting period, and then what you have to do after that is go into the bureau, talk to the person you talked to before, and they're gonna read you your rights and what you're agreeing to by continuing the process. Which basically, it's just another one of those texts. You literally sit down with this person and they read you the text, which is just, I don't know, man. And it basically, in easy language, it just says, I agree that I'm still going to go through with the whole process, and I still want to do this, and I can be held liable and accountable if, like, the gender, can I be held liable? I don't know. It says, like, you promise to the state that the gender you picked on the form out of the 4 options comes closest to your gender identity. And then you have to sign that. It repeats everything you're changing once again, like all your previous details and the ones you're going to go change it to. And then you sign it, and then the person signs it, and then they put a stamp on it, and then they take 50 euros from you, because that costs $50 apparently, which is so funny because I forgot about that. So I was like, okay, great, oh my god, I signed everything. They're gonna go send it, because for me, I have a special thing going on, because I live somewhere different than to where I was born, still literally within the same federal state. Which shouldn't make that many problems, which it makes less problems. It would be much more of a hassle if I was born in a different state in Germany. But where I was born and where I live now is the same state, just not the same city anymore. And luckily it's also not super far away. But I still, I'm thinking I should have just gone to where I was registered first, because now they have to take all of my papers and send them back to the other place by mail, which literally could be an email. We wouldn't have to wait for the post to get there and risk my shit getting lost. But okay, Germany isn't exactly the most digitally advanced, and everybody knows that. These are so good. One of my favorite fruits, I think. This meeting could have been an email. You know, that's literally it. And now I have to wait for them to send it, and then for the other people to also approve it again. Because the people where I was born, those are the only people that can change the data that's like in their system, which is really annoying because you're all state institutions. Why don't you all have the same rights? You all have my data. You can all see what's there. Just give everybody editing, like, the ability to edit that shit. It would be so much easier. I I have literally never lived in that place also. I was just born there because that's where the better hospital was. Literally, I could have just been born here. We have a hospital. But, I don't know. That is really annoying. Because imagine your parents were like on vacation or something in the south of Germany and you live in the north. And then you just get born in the south and forever all of your shit has to be sent from the north to the south, even though you've literally never even been there. But yeah, hashtag bureaucracy. We love it. It's so great. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm very grateful that I live in a time where it's that much easier, although still very difficult and annoying to change my whole gender marker and name and stuff. It's very nice. It's very great. Probably wouldn't have gotten around to this before turning like 30 if they hadn't introduced this new law that makes it easier. But anyway, it's still really annoying and I'm allowed to criticize it. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking I should have honestly, because I can get there in like an hour and a half with a bus. But I literally Googled it, and on Google it was like, oh, you don't have to do it where you were born. You can also just do it at your closest Citizens Bureau. And so I was like, okay, great. But obviously they don't say, hey, by the way, we have to send all the mail in between these different places and have multiple people approve it, more than if you went to just the one you were born at. And then I would have been like, fine, because I don't have to go there a lot anyway. I've literally physically been in the building twice. It's been actually two phone calls, because I had to clarify something. I had a question. So it's been two phone calls and me going there twice. And once was today, and the last time was 3 months ago when I just was there to give them my papers and be like, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I know what I'm doing. So literally, it's not like I have to go there every day, or if it's like diabolically early in the morning where no bus drives, so I could have literally just gone there. I'm never gonna have to do, well, that's another thing. You can change your gender and name marker every 365 days. / you can send in an application for it to be done every 365 days. So I sent my first application in November of last year. So this year, technically, if I wanted to do all of it again, if my identity changed in that time, I can just send a new application in November and be like, hey guys, I want to change it again. Which is a thing that some anti-trans people were saying here, is like, oh my god, a year? That's like way too fast. Like, oh my god, we're gonna have people changing their gender and like rotating genders every year. And it's like, nobody wants to do this, you guys. I am so annoyed. It's been 6 months, dude. It's been 6 months and barely anything has happened. Literally, almost nothing has happened. Oh my god. And it's gonna take them maybe 2 months or more in the other place to just change the 2 things in my stupid file. And then, like, because the most annoying thing is, they don't even let me know when they're done with it. I'm just gonna have to keep calling and being like, hey guys, can you phone the other people and ask them if they're done? And they're gonna be like, sure, let me put you on hold for 10 minutes. And I'm gonna be on hold for 10 minutes, and they're probably gonna call back and be like, they haven't done shit. Call back in another 2 weeks. And it's gonna be that. And it's literally indefinite. They could keep this going for like literally forever, and I don't even know if I could do anything about it. And they already took my money. They took my 50 euros. I mean, technically, I suppose at some point I could sue if I wanted to. But in that case, I would have to like somehow prove that it's like they're delaying me on purpose or something. Because there's nothing I can do if they're understaffed and no one can, like, if they have like way more other paperwork to do that came in way earlier. Because I'm not a priority to these people, obviously. I would like to know though, how many other people in the area are currently sending in all of these papers? How many other trans people are doing that right now? Because literally, I feel like I'm the only one. But yeah, and now I'm just like playing the waiting game again, which is super annoying. And now comes my critique to myself, because could have been done way earlier. Yeah, first of all, before the law was even passed, I'm pretty sure a month before the law was officially passed, you could already request to get an application form and send in your application form sometime in like, I think September, October, maybe even August. No, yeah, I think it was in August. You could have already sent your application so that your next appointment after the 3-month waiting period would have been once the law was formally passed, and then you could be like one of the first people to get in on the whole thing. But I didn't know that because I'm not super well versed in the law, and every single like online there's like one page you can go to that's like by the state, where it like explains pretty with a lot of details and a lot of questions you might have about it now, how to do it. But it mostly just concerns like the application form, where it's like, how do I send an application? What do I put on my application? What do I have to think about when I get my application? Like, where do I get my application? And then after that, I'm pretty sure it just goes, yeah, then there's the 3-month waiting period, and then they can finalize it. And then after that, it would have been kind of nice to know if there was like kind of a clause where it's like, by the way, if this and this and that, it might take even longer, you know. So the thing that I didn't really understand was that the application, the 3-month waiting period only starts once you return the application, which in retrospect makes a lot of sense, but like, it was just hard to understand the letter, you know. Okay, the wording is difficult, very difficult to me anyway. I just didn't understand it that well, and I thought, because I spoke to a person over the phone literally the first day that the law passed. I was not even home. I was in the city, like hours away from home, hanging out with my friends, and I was like, hey guys, it's like, I don't know, I think like 12 p.m. or something. The bureau is open. I gotta go over there and call them. Is literally at the loudest bus stop I've ever been at, trying to call these people about my gender. So yeah. I thought that once you get the application, 3-month waiting period starts. But it didn't, and I realized after 3 months. That's why it's been 6 months. And that's literally all my fault. And there's nothing I can do about that. It feels like way less time. I thought I was still a couple weeks away, my date, for some reason. It was 3 months ago that I called them again and was like, hey guys, can I clarify something? And that's when I found out that I didn't have to wait 3 months to send the application back, but to wait 3 months after having sent the application back. So I hope that no other people make that mistake, because it's the most annoying thing, and I've never regretted anything more. I don't think I've ever had, like, there's literally nothing I can blame it on either. It's literally all my fault. And it affects no one but me. So it's like, it's just frustrating. So I'm hoping that no one else misunderstands it the way that I did and has to wait an extra 3 months. Because that time is literally, time is gold, time is money, whatever. Because if I had done that, maybe I would have already been done by now. But now I need to wait maybe, another 2 months. So the other people can approve it. which is really annoying because I've been putting my life on hold, right, until that thing happens. Like, I've never had a job before in my entire life, which is kind of crazy to say because a lot of people do like those little weekend jobs, like carrying out papers and shit. But I never did that, partly because I was too scared to because of like social anxiety disorder, and also because for those things you have to fill out a lot of paperwork and sign a lot of things, and all with like the wrong name, and then they're all gonna call you Miss, or in my case anyway, call you Miss all the time, and especially if you work in like customer service, it's just gonna be like all of that all day. People not really like seeing you, you know what I mean? I don't think like that's why I've never. My brother, for example, while he was waiting to start his training, for like a couple months, maybe half a year, so he worked in like a supermarket, and that was like normal and fine and whatever. But I've never done that because in those cases I'm also like I don't want to have to. I think the worst part of like being trans is like having to explain yourself literally all the time whenever you meet a new person. Like making new friends is really hard. Talking to new people is really hard. Getting a job is really hard because you also don't know ever how the people, even if you're trying to work for a company that's like that puts out job searches, where in Germany specifically, I don't know if it's specific to Germany actually, but here it's a like popular format to be like, are you looking for work? Like, imagine you see this on a poster outside or something. It's like, are you looking for work? Come work at supermarket. We are looking for great new employees, and we are also training people here. If you're like young, come work for us. And then it says we're looking for like a cashier or like a person to put the boxes away and shit. And then below it says like in brackets it says male, female, or diverse. So that is basically them saying we're woke. You can be a different gender here. But that is company policy. You don't know how the actual people in that specific location where you are going to react, especially if you live in the city like I do, which is predominantly very right-leaning. Not just leaning, it's literally just very, very right. People love to be super hateful here. So I don't know if I'm going to go like how the people are going to react, because you don't want to apply for a job and then in the job interview, ideally in like the perfect world, I would go to a job interview and before having changed all of my gender and like name markers, I would be like, hey guys, this is the deal, by the way, before we get anything started, before you start remembering the wrong name about me, the thing that it's going to say in all of the paperwork that I'm going to sign and all the things you're going to see in my ID and everything, that's not the name that I go by, and that's not the pronouns that I use, and that's not the gender that I am. If you would be so kind to remember that about me, that would be cool if I could just do that already, like in an interview or whatever. But I therefore run the risk of, if the interviewer is kind of transphobic, they might just be like, okay, cool, let's do the interview. Yeah, we'll call you, and then I don't get the job, which is discrimination, which is illegal, but they can just say, they can pick literally any other reason. They can be like, oh, sorry, yeah, we just didn't feel convinced by like your presentation of yourself. And they're not specifically, they wouldn't be specifically saying, we don't want you because you're queer and you're gross. But, you know, it's the possibility they can still just reject you because you, like, said the wrong thing or whatever. Like, it's the same thing with, like, religion or something. Like, if you're Muslim and you have, like, specific dates that, like, during the day that you have to, like, pray in or something, and you would be like, hey, guys, by the way, or, you know, you show up in, like, a headscarf or something to an interview, and the people are bigots and annoying, then they can just be like, oh, sorry, we didn't like your CV, but actually I don't like the fact that you wear a headscarf, and I think you're gonna be like a bad fit for the company. And it's nothing you can do about that, because proving that those people's intentions are different than what they say is literally impossible. So yeah, it's just never really wanted to. So I've just kind of been always kind of broke, and it's like I get money from like the occasional commission that someone gets for me, which is just how I've been, buying things, going to conventions still. Yeah, that was a half an hour. So yeah, that's that. That's how to legally be transgender in Germany. Now hormones and surgeries on your body, that's a whole other thing. That stuff hasn't been revolutionized yet. For that, you still need a lot of psychological evaluations. Unless you get illegal hormones off the web, which I'm scared to do, because like, what if? Because there's not like any like laws about it. I can't sue the illegal hormone place for giving me the illegal hormones and then the illegal hormones being bad. And in that case, you wouldn't have like a doctor to ask things. Anyway, so that's what I did today, and that's how that works. I suppose it is much better than it is in other countries, and I should be very glad to be living here and blah, blah, blah. But like I said, I can still criticize things that I like, especially if it's the state. All right, I'm going to go finish my breakfast and then do something else. I don't know.